And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Caparezzo. I'm probably butchering that name. You asked the question, who would win a fight? Ant-Man or Thanos? Thanos. Not everyone. No. Oh dear. The image is a little too small. 1 second. There we go. But yes, it's Thanos. Now, why is that the case? Well, I'm sure this suggestion came from the whole idea that came around during Infinity War and Endgame. Why doesn't Why doesn't Ant-Man just, go shrink down, go into Thanos' butt, and then expand and blow him up? Well, there's actually a pretty good reason for that. But hey, even if we were to go with the MCU versions, which I'm not, Thanos would still win. So why is that the case? Why does Thanos win? Well, we have to actually basically see what these guys bring to the table. Hank Pym, or the Ant-Man, sometimes it's one version is Scott Lang, but Ant-Man as a character is generally Hank Pym. Ant-Man character, 1 second. Damn it. Ant-Man or Hank Pym is a genius scientist, runs Pym Tech. He developed a way to, shrink atoms from the distance atoms, and it allowed him to shrink and grow at will. Sorry, Hank Pym. There we go. Pym. It allowed him to shrink and grow, basically to his own or to as small and as large as he wanted to, within reason. Now, he was able to refine it later on and get much bigger. In fact, I think there was at one point where Hank Pym literally grew to the size of, beyond the size of the universe. The growth possessed required to rapidly acquisition of body mass comes from extra-dimensional source. It allows him to grow a knight as a gigantic and Goliath. If I remember, he can grow past the barriers of the microverse to enter the outer space, and to a point above and apart from all the realities where it's possible to confer with abstract entities like eternity and infinity, things along those lines. So yes, he can technically he can get as big as he wants, even surpassing normal size, even surpassing the size of the universe itself. Size reduction. He can get so small that he can, I think there was one comic that was like, ladies and gentlemen, the universe on my dog's ass. But usually, Hank does not get that small. He normally avoids going that small. These particles interact with his own brain, which to energize the mental command. Thus, Pym could grow back to his normal height and reclaim all the mass when they extend the extra dimensional. Yeah, getting smaller and getting larger it takes a large amount of energy. Entering the other planes of existence. Hank can use the Pym particles to shrink his sub-microscopic stature when 99.99% of his mass was extra-dimensionally shunted. He was sent to a subatomic universe, or a microverse, one of countless alternate universes accessible only by mass shunting process. Basically speaking, he can get that small. Now, getting that small isn't going to help him in this fight, but he could do that to theoretically escape. But he's also super genius. He's also skilled in hand-to-hand combat and martial arts. Received a solid amount of judo training. Unfortunately, among his weaknesses, besides the fact that he has weaknesses of a man is built, because he is still just human. His mental difficulties, he's suffered a series of mental breakdowns over the years. At one point, he created a separate personality for himself, the Yellow Jacket, but he claimed to have actually killed Pym. He was eventually identified as suffering from a bipolar disorder. He is not a stable guy. He is not a stable genius. Thanos, however, is an Eternal. Now, Thanos in terms of age, I don't believe it's actually ever stated how old Thanos actually is, but I think at least not his exact age. Thanos, in terms of of relative age, is I think somewhere in the neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to, like, one of the more official sources. I'm not getting a clear-cut age on how old Thanos actually is. But that being said, Thanos Thanos is well and truly, like, thousands of years old. He is an Eternal, which is a extra, well, not extra dimensional, but they are a higher race of, they're humanoid, generally speaking, but they're a higher race of individuals, human in nature, but usually with some sort of abilities. But Thanos is different than a normal Eternal, in the sense that he had what was known as a deviant gene, which is where his purple appearance comes from. And it is actually, it's a mutation. He is, Thanos, which it's never really brought up a lot of the time, but Thanos is in fact a mutant. And being a mutant, it gives him many, many abilities, including, but not limited to, because some of these are just abilities, yes. Super strength, where he can go toe-to-toe with individuals like the Hulk. He can easily subdue individuals like Beta Ray Bill and Ronan the Accuser, as well as casually break apart the latter's universal weapon. He is also able to beat and melee fight the Hulk in a powered, Hulk-powered enhanced Annihilus. If I remember who Annihilus is. Okay, I don't remember who Annihilus is. Annihilus is a like a demon, not truly a demon, but he's a demonic-esque ability. Point being, a Hulk punched enhanced Annihilus, which means I'm guessing he can absorb energy. That's why. And it's even able to go toe-to-toe with individuals like Ego, Living Planet, and Galactus. So just on the strength feat alone, he completely outmatches even, frankly, at his largest. Superhuman speed. He's not a speedster, but he can move far faster than most individuals can even perceive him. Faster than the finest human athlete, which Pym is not. Superhuman stamina, doesn't fatigue. 9 vulnerability, this is a big one. And this is where the whole idea that Ant-Man can just, go up his butt and blow him up doesn't work. 9, even before his death, he possessed an impressive degree of resistance and physical. He also has a regenerative healing factor, which helped with this, even compared to other Eternals. After his resurrection, death increases his ability to resist injury to a much greater degree. He's nigh invulnerable. He withstood a point-blank range, planet-destroying attacks without any harm. This includes from Galactus and from Black Bolt. The latter did like 3 full-powered blasts to his face, point-blank, and he got, at best, a bloody nose. Black Bolt's voice is strong enough to destroy a planet. He withstood blasts from the Silver Surfer unharmed, who can literally go through black holes without harm, tear apart planets without too much trouble. He withstood a battering from an enraged, power gem-wielding Thor with nothing more but a bloody nose. Keep in mind that the power gem possesses all power that has ever existed, currently exists, or will ever exist in the universe that it's in. He possesses such an incredible resilience to injury that he's shown to survive point-blank blasts from Odin and Galactus, has withstood, as I said, 3 full screens from Black Bolt at point-blank range without any significant injury, has survived being subjected to an artificial singularity, a black hole, and withstood being stabbed in the chest by Wolverine's adamantium claws without exhibiting any discomfort. Now, granted, that was during the Infinity War saga, or Infinity Gauntlet saga, where he had the gauntlet, so you can make an argument that might have helped, but still. His healing factor is enough that he can survive being in a black hole. Regenerated, he basically survived also being tossed to his sun. Thanos is unable to regenerate any missing organs, though. Superhuman agility, energy manipulation, and control display, including one of the big things is he can draw cosmic energy and use that as well. Telepathy possesses very powerful psionic abilities. His mind is invulnerable to most forms of psychic attack. It would take the most powerful telepath to do any sort of effect on him. Made the Hulk attack his fellow Avengers, forced Connor Sims, the Anti-Man, to destroy his surroundings. Thanos was once attempted to destroy the mind of Drax Destroyer with a powerful psychic attack called the Time Mind Sync Warp. This plunges the victim into a psychedelic dimension of insanity, causing death and incapacitation. Mana manipulation and control. Curse casting, he does have magical skills, flight and teleportation, plus being a super genius with robotic drones and time machine and a chair that can do all that, as well as being a master in armed and unarmed combat. Again, getting to why the whole up the butt crack thing doesn't work. Thanos, the perfect example of a perfect example of why it doesn't work is, let's say I could shrink down and expand anything with my mind at will. So I made someone swallow a tissue box, And now that what I was going to do was expand the tissue box inside of them, or make a shove. Somehow got the tissue box shoved up their butt and it was going to explode. And my goal was to make their whole lower half explode by doing the tissue box. The problem is the amount of mass and force that a tissue box, even rapidly expanding, has doesn't supersede the mass of the body and the durability of the body has. Therefore, the tissue box might be uncomfortable slightly expanding in the human's colon, but it's not going to destroy the human. It's not going to even do much damage. It might cut him up a little bit at best. And I'm using a tissue box as an example. Let's even go a little further. Let's go with a pea, for example. A pea that's been cooked, not a frozen pea. If I were to expand a pea and make it bigger, its mass doesn't exceed a person's mass. A pea easily mushes. Now, if I were to use something more akin to like let's say, if I were to shrink a watermelon down and then start to expand back into a human, well, that's different. The watermelon's tension and physical mass is something that it could, in fact, damage someone. That's the same problem we have here with Ant-Man and Thanos. Ant-Man could try to expand out of Thanos or blow Thanos up, but Thanos' durability is such that even if he tried to go to Giant Man and expand past the outer universe, he'd get stuck. He would not be able to do that because Thanos' durability far exceeds Hank's personal strength. So then, if that doesn't work, you got to go into the actual legitimate fight. And no matter how big and technically strong Ant-Man gets, he's not going to be able to match Thanos. Even if he's able to theoretically match him in strength, Thanos literally has more than enough abilities to stop him. Be it cosmic energy to just blast him to oblivion, telepathy to just cause an already mentally fragile man to go even more insane. And even so, he's still got nigh invulnerability. Even if he goes all the way to the Outerverse, he'd still have to figure out a way to target Thanos. Going so big that he's bigger than the actual universe and conversing with someone like Eternity actually isn't a benefit for him in this fight, except for like getting away from Thanos temporarily. Because he'd be so big, he would not actually be able to find Thanos. He has to be a size that is capable of actually fighting Thanos. And again, shrinking to a certain size or past a certain level where Thanos wouldn't be able to find him still isn't going to be able to do much because he can't hurt Thanos at that point. So really, Thanos would just end Hank Pym. He'd actually probably end Hank Pym pretty quick before any of this extra like super size increasing or super small size decreasing would really take effect. So unfortunately, it is. I go Thanos 100% of the time. Now, in theory, could Hank Pym make a device that could beat Thanos? Yeah, in theory, he's a smart enough guy that it's possible. But that's a lot of prep time, and we don't usually do this type of scenario with prep time unless asked for it. So ultimately, yeah, it's Thanos. And I didn't even bother using the Infinity Gauntlet, obviously. I just took that picture. But yeah, I didn't bother that because it was kind of obvious. Thanos wins. At least in my mind. But can you think of a solid argument otherwise? I'd be willing to hear it. Let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I just heard would win. Star Wars, Super Magic, what if, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. Be back tomorrow with what if. Yeah, and that's it. I got a week of anything coming up for another 2 weeks. So just business as usual. So thanks for watching. Later, folks.